Hello. Today we've got all things to do with non-specific defense mechanism in humans. So pause the video here, try this question out, and then continue on to see how I answer it. And top tip, your answer is going to be very long. If you're looking at your page, you're like, writing a bit too much? No, that's a good sign. Trust me on that. Don't get too shocked for when I show you the answer. Okay, this is going to be long, but let's do this together, right? First step you're going to do, read the question. It says, describe the non-specific defences against pathogens that would explain all these observations. Okay, I'm going to rephrase that, but like, describe the non-specific defences against pathogens. I'm going to read the information because when it's a 6 marker, they don't write things for the sake of writing things, as with like 1, 2, 3, 4 markers. So as you can see here, I've highlighted the key parts and I've also numbered them. So yeah, student cuts their hand, great. Not great, but you know. Bleeding stops, that's number 1. Number 2 would be the fact that, the area around the cuts becomes swollen, red and tender. And the third part is the small swelling and discomfort in the armpit. Those are the 3 things I'm going to tackle because it would explain all the observations. So this is the answer. It's a lot going on, but we'll go through it together. Essentially, I've basically spelled it out. I just described each process, 1, 2, and 3. So the first one is how has this bleeding stopped. So aka, that's me telling myself right about the like the clotting cascade mechanism. Second one is, okay, well, how does swelling and tenderness occur? That is another word for inflammation. Third one, is the discomfort in the armpits. That is me telling myself about lymph nodes and the lymphatic system. Okay, so do you see how, like, because of the way I had revised beforehand, whenever certain phrases or certain words come up, I can immediately link them to something else. So try to do that in your notes, or even your flashcards. Make associations. They really help, trust me. So I've got some diagrams here, and it's because of those diagrams that I was able to really just spell it out. When I say spell it out, I mean just write, It's not application, this is just a describe. If you don't know how to answer describe questions, I've got a whole playlist going through every single exam command word to do with A-level biology. And yeah, that's my channel, so you can have a look at that. But for the first one, this diagram here, memorize this and try and understand it. This is how I learnt the blood clotting cascade. And this is how I also, was able to write all of this, is because I got it directly from when I memorized this diagram. So I think it was my last video where I told you guys how, when you have good diagrams and images and you memorize them in your notes, like in your revision time, they help a lot in the exam because all of a sudden you can imagine how that diagram looks like and just basically write it off that. So it's not like you're memorizing for the sake of memorizing, but actually you're memorizing to understand what's going on, and ultimately that transfers into actual words and marks here. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but me and my friends had this whole argument about, do we need to know the steps for the blood clotting cascade? Because in the OCR A specification, if I'm not mistaken, if they haven't changed it, I think it said you don't need to know the steps. But I'm sorry, OCR, then what's this question? Why are they making us explain the blood clotting cascade then, So always memorize all diagrams that you find in the textbook and stuff like that, because they will come. Don't know why the specification is lying to us, but it is. I think. So yeah, just memorize it, okay? So understand this diagram, and then you just write all the points here. You don't need to know why certain things occur, you just need to know it. That's very simple. Second one's about inflammation. I couldn't find a really good diagram for it. I mostly found about, you know, how like the whole antigen, team memory stuff happens on Google, but I didn't really find a good inflammation one. But it doesn't matter. If you just remember the word inflammation, hopefully you're going to start to associate words with it. So inflammation in my head goes like this. Mast cells detect it. Histamine. Histamine's a great one because, you know, when you think of hay fever and stuff, the medicine you have to combat that is antihistamines. So that's kind of like how I memorise that part. And then, you know, histamines cause the arterial, so this directly causes arterioles to dilate. Okay, so more blood to the area. Cool. If you're asking yourself, why does that occur? Why is that happening? Well, swelling means, you know, the area is getting bigger, larger, stuff like that. So that means more blood is to the area, but also causes redness because blood, you know. And then more tissue fluid forms. As it forms edema. What is edema? Well, that's the scientific word of saying swelling. Okay? And then, you know, phagocytosis of pathogens is what we want. You know, that's how we're going to sort out this pathogen. So yeah, those are the steps of inflammation. Next one, discomfort in armpits. To be honest with you, when I first did this question in year 13, I didn't know what to say. Like, in class, we learnt one slide on the lymphatic system and the lymph nodes, but I didn't think anything of it until this question came up. So just, you know, trying to understand what's going on here. The reason why I've got this diagram here is because whenever I now think of armpits or, you know, some area of the body's swelling, and I don't need to write about inflammation, then I know it's about the lymphatic system. So it's all about, you know, trying to get diagrams into your head to make associations with words that have been used in the question or even the information to make it easy for yourself. So, yeah, here's like what happens is that, you know, excess tissue fluid is drained to the lymph vessels. Pathogens in tissue fluid enter the lymph fluid and then transported along the lymphatic system to the lymph nodes, right? Lymph nodes are like just everywhere, really. And then the activity of the phagocytes causes swelling in the lymph nodes. And that's why we have discomfort in armpits. Bit TMI, right? But like, if you want, you can look at swelling in the armpits, like on Google Images, and you'll see what's going on there. You're going to be pretty shocked, because I hadn't seen it before. So that's with caution if you're into that, as if you want to learn more scientifically. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, so that's how you answer this. Lots going on, so much things you need to memorise and write down. But genuinely, write this question in your notes or a flashcard and just memorise all these steps, because the examiner literally just told you the mark scheme specific way of describing all three processes. It's a 3-in-1 special. So yeah. Well done if you understood all of that though. But this is a question I would love for you guys to continue repeating until the exam season occurs, like until it comes. Because not only is this 3 separate pieces of content in Transport of Animals topic, but also these are mark scheme answers. So yeah. Remember, the 2 most important exam technique tips are: read the question first and state all the obvious points. And that basically means describe the whole processes, really. So yeah, try some questions out and let me know how it goes.